Hi besties, welcome back. And in today's video, this video is directed to the future university candidates of 2025. So if you were in grade 12 or you are planning to get into university, you matriculated years ago, this is the video for you. Particularly the fresh of the boat grade 12s, because there's still a lot they might not have done research about as compared to those that matriculated years ago. Of course, you've had some time, to think about certain things. But those that recently finished matric, you need to listen. In this video, we're going to discuss things such as what to do after getting your results, from getting your statement, getting your offer, how to accept an offer, how do you secure your funding if you haven't applied, registration, how do you get to deal registration, what is that, res life, and also talk about the orientation that happens in most universities and why those are important. And we're also going to talk about the big topic, of course, which is adulting. Remember that now you're getting into a space where you are now an adult and you will be making a lot of major decisions for yourself. And as previously it has been done by parents, guardians, people who take care of you. But now you are on your own. We're also going to talk about moving from where you are, whether that be Northern Cape, Gauteng, you're moving to another province. Some people, I know most people in Gauteng might not want to leave, but where are we going? But we're going to talk about that, and we're also going to talk about forming connections in university and why that's important for you as a university learner. Let's get straight right into today's video. So we are going to talk about, you've received your statement at school, you have processed your results. Remember that it's going to take some time for you to start accepting the marks, whether they're good or not, but when you've had a certain expectations and it didn't come so well, and you're still doing the processes of maybe going to remark. We'll talk about those also in January. What does it mean to remark, recheck, and reviewing your script if you feel like your marks were not fairly provided? We'll talk about that. But for now, you have your marks, you have an offer. If you have an offer, so one tip I would provide for grade 12 is that you see from the 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th till the 20th, I would always make sure my phone is not on silent and is on loudspeaker. And I check my emails and I check the university websites where you applied every now and then. Remember that usually universities will get your marks before you, as they get them straight from national. I don't know how that works, but they get them before you so they can make these selections before you even get your marks. Personally, awesome. That's why it's important for you to check the websites, the emails. Even when you check your emails, go to spam. Sometimes some of the university's emails bounces off onto spam and your phone doesn't recognize it as a, I don't know what, but like it's a spam. It's not a spammy, so it would just then go there. But it's sometimes very important to check there, because most universities, if they give you an offer, it would be for 30 days or 72 hours as most like to call it. Same thing. They will give you 30 days. So let's say you get your offer on the 13th. Then you'll have 13, 14, 15. If you only see it on the 16th, it will be gone. It will go to the next person in line. Remember now that when you get into university, if a program takes 100 learners, all those learners are going to get their acceptances, and those that reject, they keep going down on the list. So if you are on the waiting list, that is what it means. It means that you are waiting for someone at the top to reject the offer, and then they can give it to the people under the top chosen learners. So if learners do not reject the offer, then being on the waiting list, you can be there until they reject you, because they are also not sure where the space is. They're still waiting for people to decline offers. So what you're going to do is, you're going to accept your offers. If you're declining a certain offer, please do so. Remember that if you're holding on to an offer that you don't want to go to, you are denying another person a chance. So that is why you need to start thinking now about what is it that you want to do. I know you're like, best, I want to enjoy my holidays. But best, you need to think about that, because the next thing, you are studying a program and you're hoping to switch. And then you get there, then you realize, no, it's not possible to switch. Now you must finish this qualification. There's nothing wrong with that. The only important thing is for you to look at all the things available to you and think about it accordingly. Reject an offer if you don't want it so another person could get that offer. We've spoken about that. You accept the offer. Some might even call you and they might want a fee to hold your space. Remember that some universities want to be sure that you're not just taking our offer because you're still waiting for UCT to say something. So give us 2,000 so that we take this acceptance from you. So if you've paid that already, you're like, I'm not gonna go anyway. So that's how they also sort of like get you. They're like, we want you to put our university as number one. So you accept the offer, you decline those that you decline, and then after a few hours or a few days, you'll get a letter that says you've been accepted for that, either from the portal. You can take a screenshot, or they'll send a letter, something like that. But a letter will be sent to you to say that we finally for that. So depending on the university, some universities send letters for you to go accept an offer on the portal. So it really depends on the university and the administrative IT things they use. But the most important thing, choose an offer, reject what you reject, and now funding. Remember that some bursary applications require you to have either a provisional or a final acceptance. Majority of bursaries, hear me out, majority of bursaries have already closed for 2025, but there is still quite a number of universities that are not closed. Go and apply to those, especially the moment you get your offer letter. Even those ones that you applied to and you haven't heard anything, call them. Hi there, I got my final offer for the program. Then that they're like, okay, you have an offer, so we can fund you. Then you send it to them. If they want your results, you need to send them as soon as possible, which is why I always advocate, after getting your results, go and certify them by the police station and utilize them. Scan, have digital copies. Bursary. Make sure that you meet the requirements. Remember that some bursaries, if you do not have a provisional or final offer, they won't take you. You did not meet the requirements. So make sure that you understand what is it that they need and what will they cover. Will they only cover registration fees, tuition, accommodation, or does it depend on how much your parents earn? So that is very, very important for you to identify. Because the next thing, you went to university with a bursary that's only covering tuition and the way you sleep, what you eat, they don't pay that, and then your parents have to pay that. And it is quite stressful for you to just tell parents out of the blue, please cover 29,000 for this semester, there's another 29,000. It's quite a burden, especially if it wasn't something that was priorly discussed or communicated with the parents in advance. So let us make sure that we do that. And to talk about registration and what that process really is, and why is there a registration fee and why it needs to be paid. So remember, at this point, it's either you already have gotten bursary, right? And if you have a bursary already, that letter would go to the university. They will tell you where to upload and all of that based on their requirements. Then that means that you will not have to pay a registration fee. But some universities might say, yes, you have a bursary, but pay us that deposit, that registration fee, which is sort of like a deposit, you're registering into the university. Then when your bursary pays us, we will give it back to you, because they also want to be like, we need money to be sure you want to come here and enroll you into our university. So it depends on also whether you're staying at that university. It seems like there's a price variation between whether you stay there, but they will tell you if you have res at that university or you went to private, it would vary. Then you will pay that amount, and then so make sure that at least anything from 5 to 10,000 you try and save if you cannot have a bursary. But if you're on NSFAS, I know that they usually don't make you pay that in some universities. Some universities are a bit more stricter than others. Some won't even allow you to be able to enter with your student card on campus if you haven't registered. Yeah. So make sure that at least that kind of amount you can try and save, or ask for help somewhere where it's needed. Which is why it's very important for you to get a bursary confirmation letter as soon as possible, so that they exempt you from having to pay this. Some universities have an agreement you sign that you'll be able to pay it by latest this, or your bursary would pay it. So it's very important for you to get that. And remember, this is also something that could be done online. Some universities would want you to do it at the university, especially during orientation week. We're going to talk about orientation week, but that's the week where all the first years are there to register into the university, the modules, and their qualifications, and get the balls and ducks in a row, so that when schools officially open, they know that they are registered for this module. The same as how in high school you have life sciences. So they need to know how many learners are enrolled for life sciences in the university, how many are enrolled for life orientation, for example. So it is very important that you go and do this. So it could either be done online, but some people do it in person. And ideally, if you can be at that university, because usually they will make it around orientation week, and you're already supposed to be at that university or the area in which it's situated. So if you're going to Wits, you need to be in Bram, where the main campus might be, and sort all of that out. Because also remember, some modules you might not know. Remember, there are electives. We are also going to talk about electives now and choosing electives later. But for now, it's the registrations, choosing the right number of modules, and making sure that you have a timetable that doesn't clash. Because you might choose life orientation and physics, and they happen to be at the same time. Then now you have to choose which one to attend. So then they'll be able to tell you, no, you can't take this one and this one, so mix this with that. So they're going to help you with that. So during orientation week, you also need to do something that is called registration of your modules, as I previously explained. So there are some compulsory modules. For example, in grade 12, you have to choose 7 subjects that you had to do. You know that 2 languages were compulsory, LO, and then maths or physics. Those were the compulsory, and then the remaining 3 you could choose whatever you wanted. That is the rule. So the same with university. Certain programs will have electives, meaning that there's a variety of subjects to choose from. There's physics, life science, geography, history, religious studies. Then you need to choose the 3 that is aligned to whatever you're studying. So for example, in engineering at Wits or at UCT, actuarial science, you might have to choose maybe between computer science and financial, whatever. So you have to choose. There's multiple. I know that if you are doing dentistry at the University of the Western Cape, there's a language that's an elective. For example, there's Afrikaans and isiXhosa. So if you did an African language at school, you register for Afrikaans. If you did Afrikaans, you do the African language. That is how it works. So there are electives, and it is very important for you to do a bit of research into what other people have been doing. And you can see that online. People are always talking about their experiences in university, and it's very important for you to watch such, because you'll get to understand people say, no, do not choose philosophy. Also, if you come into Wits next year and you do engineering, please do not choose international relations. Those that know, they know. They will tell you, some people chose Zulu and they were getting distinctions. So it's also very important for you to guard your average. If you're going to do a module that's going to be challenging you, you're going to get a lower mark. But also remember, I said watch other people's experiences, because for example, if you're going to do a law degree, it's very important for you to choose your electives carefully, because you're going to apply with that transcript to law firms, and those law firms are going to ask, did you do the law that we practice mainly here? But then you chose to learn about philosophy. They don't do philosophy. So they also might need to align to wherever you want to work in the future. So it's very important for you to do research, guys. It's not just randomly choosing subjects and be like, oh. So understand the field that you want to get into, because we've seen a lot of people not do that. And sometimes it really comes back and, I don't want to say such words on the channel, but that is what sometimes happens. So it's very important for you to ask. You can even go there at the registration office. They will advise you. And also check other people on social media. Someone would say the day in the life of a UCT medical student. They'll share the experience, or some of them would even rank the modules they did and which one was which one would they not recommend. You can ask such information. And if you're not sure, you can even ask the university to help you. I think after choosing, there's still a period where you can change your modules. If you feel like, oh, I chose the wrong one, then you can still go back. I think there's a period. You need to find out from your university about that. Now I want us to talk about the res life and whether you have a university res offer. What does that song say? Push to start. Push the number buttons. Okay, no, I'm joking. Let us talk about res life. You are about to become an adult. So Res Life First, do you have an offer for residence at the university? So there are two offers you would usually get at a university. The academic placement, meaning that you're accepted in that program, be it law, psychology, medicine, agricultural science, education, dentistry, medicine, nursing, occupational therapy, or actuarial science. So you would get that offer. And then there's a residence one, which is for the university-owned residence. So there is university-owned residence, and then there's also private residence. Private residence is university accredited. So the university says it is, we would recommend you to stay here if you can't stay on campus. Because remember, also on-campus accommodation has a limit or a capped number of learners it can have. It cannot accommodate all the first years. Thus, some have to go to private. Then again, experiences of other people come into place here. People share the experiences that if you go into University of Pretoria and you don't get res on campus, then I would advise you to stay at this place, this place, this place, this place. Same as if you come to Wits, there are accommodations. There's Apex, there's Apex in Braamfontein, there's Campus Central in Parktown. There's quite a few that you could choose, and you would also find out how far they are on the websites. But before you sign or pay for anything res, make sure that you ask other people how the experiences were. I've heard some horrible things where people have forced to pay deposits, and then they get there and then they don't like the place, but you've already paid. Then there's nothing you can do, then you are trapped. So research is very key. It's very key because you need to learn, but it is also very important for you to, gather other people's experiences and make a decision. So then you look at that. When you're doing private, make sure that you look at how much it is, and also your bursary. Remember, I asked you to check what bursary you have and what it covers. So if they say they only pay 60,000 for accommodation per year and yours is 65, you already who's paying that 5,000 rand. It's you. So very important for you to understand how much they can pay. And some bursaries will be like, they just pay everything. So make sure you also check how much the rest is, because if it's 80,000 and your bursary pays 60, that 20 is on you and your parents. Okay? So it's very important that you do that. And maybe I'll talk about being in res, either private and university one, when we talk about adulting. Let's talk about orientation. O week. O week is the time that you need to be on campus. If you're not on campus during O week, your life just becomes 10 times a bit harder most of the time. Those that didn't attend O week, please tell us how you survived your first year of university. But it is quite tough. Remember, O week is where the university is teaching you about the university, where you will be studying. You're teaching about the histories, the structure of how everything is run, where the engineering campuses are, where the actuarial science, the financial maths, the comp sci learners would be attending. So it's like they're showing you the campus, and you get to learn about university life. You get to learn about different clubs that you could participate in, the science club, the maths club, the actuary club, there's the health sciences, medical student council. There's quite a lot of organizations where they get to tell you about, they get to teach you about things that are available in university, how digitalized it is as compared to high school. Everything is just so done digitally. Your classes, you can get them online, on Canva, Oracle, Ulwazi, depending on where you are. So they will be teaching you around all of that, and you get to engage with other learners in your class that will be doing the same program as you. And this is going to be very important. Also, when we talking about connections, I'll interlink it to this. But you'll be meeting with those people. If there's 300 of you guys going through that orientation, there's going to be different faculties combined together. There's going to be res bonding sessions where you guys as people from that res get to know each other, and you have mentors or people in a higher or senior level at the university, like third years, come and tell you about the culture there, the support system that's there for you. They tell you all these things during orientation, and you get to meet other people who are as equally scared as you. And then, you get to be scared together. Being scared together is really good, because we don't know what's going on, but we're going to figure it out together. And we'll talk about connections and why they will be very important later in university after orientation and all the registration has been done. Also, O Week is an opportunity for you to get freebies. Have you ever seen people who attend O Week? People who attend O Week, they get freebies from different companies, bursaries, there's performances on campus. There's quite a lot of fun things that are happening for you to get to know other people. Remember, there's different backgrounds. You might be coming from the deepest part of Northern Cape. You might be in the same class with someone who went to Senton High. There's going to be a variety in your personalities and, the experiences you've lived, backgrounds, orientations, races, cultures, religious beliefs. There's going to be a variety, and it is very important for you to understand that in university there is no environment for bullying. There is no environment for bullying. We need to be tolerant towards each other and understand our differences and see whether we click or not. But being rude and disrespectful in university is a highly punishable offense. It's not like high school where you can just be mean on TikTok and make fun of someone. In university, there are real consequences, and in some instances, you might even get suspended from university. University aslalina. We do not mock nobody. It's an environment to learn and, just grow as an adult. So that is with orientation. There's also the O Week party. Some people do go to this, some people don't. Usually it's in campus where they'll call like a celebrity, and it's organized by SRC to get first years, to interact in a fun environment together and learn, get to learn from one another and, become closer, have your own small cliques and clacks of people that you talk to, the study environment. So whether it's safe or not, find out from the university, and then it's usually a good idea to go and attend, meet other people. Oh, hi, are you also doing computer science? Yes, I am. Oh, no way, give me your number. Then you get their number. That's a connection made right there. We are going to talk about connections just now, but that is what you need to be doing when you get there. Okay? Are we good? Orientation, please try and attend it. Awesome. Also remember, during orientation, parents are sometimes allowed in certain parts of orientation, especially the whole introduction of all the first years to the university. They like doing that. Parents also need to know a bit about where their kids are going. Let's talk about adulting now, rest life. Remember now that once you have to find your own accommodation. Your parents will also help you where they can. But after all of that, it's the real death. This is now where you have your offer for bursary, you are at rest, your parents have dropped you, or you came alone, and you have your bursary, you've attended all week, and your bursary is giving you your first stipend. Like, okay, here's your stipend. What do? You now need to learn financial literacy, how to use that money. If you're given 2,000 a month and they tell you that you have to pay for food and toiletries and whatever you want, you need to now budget. How much are you going to prioritize for food? Clothes, wigs, some people buy drinks, whatever it is that you buy, you need to now start learning how to budget for it. Some instances you need to know how to cook if you're going to be staying at a non-catered residence. Remember, catered rest means that you'll go to dining hall and you'll get food there. So then some instances the bursary allowance will go straight to the university, depending. Always important to find out what kind of a bursary you have and what it funds. So some they'll fund the food, and then some you might have to cook. So you have to get cutlery and all of pots, the shenanigans. A pot, an electrical wire, this, that. And remember, when you come to university, you're going to need bedding, you're going to need plugs for plugging laptops, chargers. You're going to need, a cup, for drinking. Even if you eat at a catered rest, you need that. Some people buy cereal, but that's something you would do a bit later. Blankets, if you can travel with them, amazing. But if you can't, you can always buy them in the town that you're going to be in, depending on the plan. I know some parents usually like buying those things for their kids, like now during December, so it's touch and go, really. That's what I can say. It's really touch and go. You can do what works for you and your family, but also certain things that you might need is data. You need a phone. Ideally, you need to have a phone. You need to use Uber or Bolt or whatever it is that you need. But we'll also talk about moving from where you are to the university. But it's very important that you have your Uber, because the Uber or whatever form of transport that you'll be using, if your parents are not driving you, it's going to become a bit challenging. You're going to need to learn about, you know, the mall that's near there, the works. You'll get to learn about that. But it is very important to know that this is adulting. There is so much freedom that you are going to get. And remember, with freedom, you need to also be careful. Because we're just giving you, like, you know, here's money. If you want to go and buy alcohol and party the entire semester, fine. No one is going to follow you. You get your money and you buy sneakers, you buy clothes, and you don't buy food. No one will be like, you're going to suffer from, like, it's on you. Whether you want to attend a class or not, no one will force you like in high school. There aren't bells to tell you time is up. So if the lecturer goes above and you have a next period, you have to decide what you're going to do. Hell yeah. So there's really quite a lot of adulting moves that need to be made. You'll be making your own grocery. You'll be washing your own laundry. And also, please don't become a rest wife when you get to rest. Do not become a rest wife. You are there to learn. Alright, bestie? Awesome. Don't become a rest wife. Don't become a rest wife. And remember, here you're going to be with people from different backgrounds. Some people are going to have 10 times the allowance that you get. And you need to know that peer pressure has always been there, bestie, and it will forever be there. You need to stay firm to your ground and not do things you're not comfortable with doing just for the sake of getting money. Very important to note such things in university. People will offer you dreams and be like, let's go clubbing, Chomi, I know a guy. You need to be careful. If your friend wants you to go wear balaclavas and take people's phones in the street, yeah, there's a lot of adulting, there's a lot of decisions that you're gonna make. You're gonna make some wrong mistakes here and now. Like, you know, it's okay. You are adulting, but you need to remember the reason that you're at university. You're there to discover yourself as a young adult, but you're also there to get a qualification and an experience. So it is very important that you understand all the things. You're gonna be an adult. That's what we say. Now you are moving from Mthatha to Joburg to UCT, from Ekabecha, you know, New Greytown to UCT. Now, either your parents will be driving you, or you'll be going by a bus alone, or you'll be driving yourself if you have a car, or you'll be flying, whichever means you get to do. Just always remember, if you're flying or taking a bus, try and find out how much a public transport can be. But also, I don't recommend people taking public transport if it's their first time in a town. Ideally, get an Uber or Bolt, whichever you consider to be safe, so that when you're at the airport, there's an Uber that's going to fetch you. If there's a sibling in that town, great, they can come and fetch you and, you know, show you the do's and don'ts. And it is always nice, you know, if someone from your school or your community or your family has gone to that university, because they get to teach you, you know, the ins and outs. I remember when I got to university, there were some people from the community I was from, and they just made my whole experience at university so much better. They told me, when you register, always make sure this. You're going to see Nasty C when you're moving from your first period to your second period, but don't let that distract you, you know. Here and there you can go and watch Nasty C perform, but you need to know that you're at school and you're there to get an education. So moving, if you need a transport, you need to make sure that you understand what is that. If you're paying with card, basically you need to make sure you have all those tags in a row. So it's easier if your parents take you, but not all of us have the luxury of parents, you know, taking you, you know, affordability and all of those factors involved. It depends on where your family situation is. Some people come to university with a bus and they come with their things and they're figuring out the entire, you know, university and the town on their own, and it's totally okay. You're gonna find other people like that there, and you know, you'll be doing it together, and it'll make, you know, it'll make sense, and it'll make things, you know, a bit better, because you're like, you know what, we're doing it together. You know, you're gonna find real friendships. You're gonna find friendships that are not gonna work and they're there to teach you lessons. So there's really quite a lot that's going to happen when you're moving. So find out what's feasible from where you are. If you need to save money, please do so. I've seen people on social media, you know, putting their posters and they get a lot of help. Some people not so much, but try and save as much as you can where you can. If you can't, you can't. do what you can, which is why sometimes some people, it would be better for them to go to Joburg than it is to Cape Town. So someone might take an offer to go to UP than to go to UCT because of costs. It might be expensive to go to UCT as compared to, and you know your family situations. Some people will try and get the money social media wise or from crowdfunding, family members, the works, you know, depending on what you manage. So if you can't, you'll go to what's convenient. Some people want to be as far away from family as possible. I know I was one of those. I was like, wait. You see, like, it really just depends on you as a person and what is it that you really want, and what can you afford. You know, some bursaries might not cover your entire fees at UCT, but when you go to Sefako Makgato, they might be able to cover all of that. Are you willing now to go to UCT even though that means your family has to pay more? That's a decision you make based off of your financial background and how much the bursary will pay. For example, if the bursary only gives 50,000 for food and 60 for accommodation, and then UCT is 100 for food and 100 for accommodation, this is an example, then, you know, are you willing to do that? Will your family be able to pay for the remaining? Or are you going to go to SNU where the 60,000 is going to be enough for accommodation? Those are things you need to consider. Okay, you need to think about those things. We're going to talk about making connections and, you know, making friends in university. We spoke about coming to campus during a week. That is where you meet most people. Remember that after the orientation is usually the first week of lectures. That's when everything gets to start academically. The academic calendar starts. So that means that classes will be starting, and if people have already met during orientation, so they have their own squads, you know, and it becomes a bit difficult for you to now get into that squad because you are now an outsider to them. They haven't even seen you. So it becomes a bit difficult for them to even trust you, if I can put it like that. Or, you know, it makes it hard for you to gel with other people and get well. And one thing I want to tell you is that university is not a one-man sport. You need a community. You need a community. Let's talk about how having other people who are going to study the same thing with you, you are discovering so many things, and you are learning together, and it's an experience. You get to bond, build relationships. But also, if I get a past paper or a material, you know, I can share it with you because we are friends. But if you're not my friend, why would I share it with you? You know, there's that kind of system going around in universities. It's like people don't trust each other because past papers are not so easily accessible as, you know, in high school. They are there, don't get me wrong, but they are not as easily accessible as you would get them on grade 12. Grade 12 exams, they jump. You search UCT actuarial sciences, UCT first year papers, you get one from 2018 or 2008. So past papers are not so easily accessible, and having groups of communities, it helps you better because you might find out my brother did actuarial science, then I'll be able to give you the resources he used, you know. Of course, if he got a 0 on a task and I'm asking for someone who I don't even know, I wouldn't trust that they would keep that a secret, you know. Next thing, I'm trending on TikTok, you posted a picture of me getting a 0 out of 100, but I'm trying to help you. So it's also about the trust that you get to build. The connections you make are going to help you in the academic or just the development of yourself in the society. LO wink wink. They're going to be helping you with that, discovering yourself, being on this journey of growth together. There are so many things you're going to be exposed to that you haven't been exposed to in your life. You're going to get your first 0 in university. Some people don't, you know. It's an experience, you know. You're going to get so many experiences that are going to make you the person that you're going to, you know, be grateful that you took that journey once you start getting your qualification. So it is very important that you have your connections. People who do not have connections find it very difficult to handle university. It becomes a bit difficult to do it alone. Some people do it, but it is quite challenging to go on that journey alone without any support. So bestie, I hope this video really helped you. I don't know when you're going to see this video. We might drop it in December or we might drop it the 1st of Jan. But bestie, good luck. I can't wait to see you if you're going to University of Witwatersrand. Bye besties. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and we will see each other. Bye, bestie.